One train, over 500 miles per hour. China is pushing rail transport into territory that used to belong only to airplanes. What makes this moment different is that two paths are moving forward at the same time. On one hand, there are ultra-fast maglev ideas with the speed of over 621 miles per hour. On the other hand, there is the new CR450 high-speed rail that is now taking commercial travel more than ever before to the jet speed. And together, these projects are forcing a simple but serious question. For many routes, especially busy ones between major cities, could a train actually be the faster and easier option than flying? To understand why this matters, it helps to start with scale. China does not build transport systems in small pieces. The total length of the railway in the country was approximately 102,000 miles by the end of 2025. Of that, over 31,000 miles was high-speed rail. That by itself is greater than all the rest of the world. Millions of passenger journeys pass through this network every year. By 2025, approximately 42.5 billion passenger journeys were on rail, making the highest days to go beyond over 23.1 million journeys. Those are not abstract numbers. They shape how cities grow, how people work, and how fast ideas move.
Researchers from Donghu Laboratory in central China's Hubei province have successfully accelerated a 1.1-ton.
That massive system is the foundation. Foxing CR400 trains and other trains have daily routes of 186 miles and 218 miles. They connect Shanghai and Beijing in under 5 hours, the city center to the city center. Maglev line to Pudong Airport is also available in Shanghai and has a speed of approximately over 286 miles and is the fastest commercial train in the world. These are not experiments. They are everyday transport.
Meet the CR450, China's latest high-speed train model that's set to redefine.
When we say faster than a plane, you might be thinking of raw speed, nose to tail, kilometers per hour versus kilometers per hour. But that is not how travel actually feels. A typical short-haul jet cruises at around 497 miles per hour to 559 miles per hour. Yet no one boards a plane at cruise. You travel to an airport often 19 miles or 37 miles from the city. You arrive early, you pass security, you wait, you taxi, you climb, you descend, you taxi again, then you still have to get back into the city. Suddenly, that headline speed looks less magical.
And 10% lighter than its predecessor, the CR400. Plus, engineers say its sharp nose.
This is where rail quietly wins ground. Trains leave from the heart of cities. Security is quicker, boarding is simpler, delays ripple less. So when China talks about trains that can rival planes, it is talking about door-to-door time, not just peak numbers on a test track. That framing changes everything. By 2026, two big projects define this push. The first is the CR450, the next step in conventional wheel-on-rail technology. The second one is ultra-fast Maglev program, which targets over 621 miles per hour in low-pressure tubes. The beasts are quite disparate, but yield a distinct story jointly. Let's start with the CR450, since it is more closely related to everyday life. In late 2025, China unveiled test results showing this train reaching about 281 miles per hour. That is more than 62 miles per hour faster than the current CR400 in commercial service. It also puts China ahead of other high-speed systems like the French TGV and Japanese Shinkansen, which usually operate at around 186 miles per hour to 199 miles per hour. This is not a paper design. The CR450 has been running extended tests, with a target of about 373,000 miles of accumulated testing before full approval. That kind of mileage is not for show. It is concerning reliability, stopping, noisiness, jostling, and wear. It is scheduled to start operating close to commercial flights on such routes as Chengdu to Chongqing in the year 2026 or 2027. In case it occurs, the passengers will get into a regular-looking train and move at speeds that were previously regarded to be extreme by steel wheels. And this is really important, especially for Chinese engineers. While the CR450 pushes the upper limit of what conventional rail can do, engineers know there is a wall ahead. Above about 373 miles per hour, air resistance explodes. Energy use climbs fast, stability becomes harder. That is where Maglev enters the picture. The new vision extends much beyond the Shanghai line, and China has been working on Maglev over the years. This is aimed at having a superconducting Maglev, which would function in low-pressure tubes. Most of the time, the target speed is approximately 621 miles per hour. A 621 miles trip at that speed would theoretically occupy approximately 1 hour of cruise time. The theory is easy to explain, although the construction may be difficult. The train is supported and steered by powerful superconducting magnets, and it lifts it some 10 centimeters above the track. Having no wheels on the rails, mechanical friction is almost eliminated. The biggest enemy becomes air. To fight that, the system uses tubes with reduced air pressure, cutting drag dramatically. That is how engineers avoid the wall that stops conventional trains. China has already tested Maglev vehicles at speeds around 385 miles per hour. These tests are quoted as evidence of the fact that it is possible to scale up higher. There are public announcements of a 2026 target date, not as a complete commercial deployment, but as a show of an integrated system. It is a train, the tube and the control systems and the safety logic all operating at very high speed. This is where skepticism naturally appears, and rightly so. Maintaining long, low-pressure tubes is hard. Emergency evacuation at extreme speed is complex. Thermal expansion, earthquakes, and power supply all become serious design challenges. Even advocates admit that 2026 is about showing capability, not selling tickets across the country.
China's CR450 high-speed train is about to be launched. It only takes 2.3 hours from Beijing to Shanghai. Can it be called the world's fastest high-speed train?
Nevertheless, one wonders why China is taking this push at this time. One reason is geography. The country has several mega corridors where demand is massive and distances are long enough to justify extreme speed. Take Shanghai to Guangzhou. By conventional high-speed rail, the trip usually takes about 7 hours or 8 hours. Flights are quicker in the air, but add the airport time and the advantage shrinks. Planning documents in Guangdong have floated the idea of a Maglev connection that could cut this journey to under 3 hours. That would change business travel overnight. Another reason is integration. China is not building Maglev in isolation. Urban rail networks in cities like Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, and Shenzhen are dense and still growing. New suburban and interprovincial lines are under construction, linking city centers more tightly to surrounding regions. A future Maglev trunk line would sit on top of this web, feeding into metros and commuter rail. That is how door-to-door time really drops.
The railway line is designed for speeds of up to 350 km per hour, although it initially began operating at around 300 km per hour.
Now let us return to the headline question. Is it really faster than a plane? The honest answer is, it depends on distance and context. For trips under about 621 miles to 746 miles, current high-speed rail at 186 miles per hour to 218 miles per hour already competes well with flying. Beijing to Shanghai is the classic example. The quickest trains are approximately 4.5 hours or 5 hours. The total time spent in the air on flights is approximately 2 hours to 2.5 hours. However, adding transfers and waiting, the difference becomes very slim. Why? It's because with the CR450, that rail time could drop further. With Maglev at extreme speed, the balance tips even more. At around 1,000 kilometers per hour, ground travel enters aviation territory. For dense corridors, rail could become the default choice.
Wow!
Capacity is another quiet advantage. Airports are constrained by runways and slots. Trains can add capacity by running more frequently or lengthening sets. China's rail system already handles billions of passengers a year. That experience matters when scaling something new. There is also the environmental angle. High-speed rail and maglev run on electricity. If that electricity comes increasingly from low-carbon sources, per-passenger emissions on busy routes can undercut short-haul flights. This does not make the systems cheap or easy, but it adds weight to the argument for investing in them. So the new question is, why push speed at all? Part of the answer is national cohesion. Fast transport shrinks a country. It makes same-day travel between distant cities normal. It spreads opportunity and eases pressure on megacities. Another part is technological prestige. Projects like the CR450 are framed domestically as proof that China is not just manufacturing, but inventing at the frontier. Export ambition also plays a role. China already competes globally in high-speed rail projects. If it can prove reliable, ultra-fast systems at home, it gains a powerful calling card abroad.
Off it goes. Bye-bye, high-speed train. That's quite a long train, isn't it? 16 carriages long. Yeah. Bye-bye, eh?
To be fair, none of this erases the risks. The cost of building 621 miles per hour infrastructure will be enormous. Only a handful of routes may ever justify it. Safety certification will be slow and cautious. Even the CR450, which is far less radical, requires years of testing before full approval. Timelines can slip. Public excitement can cool. That is why it is important to frame 2026 correctly. It is a turning point, but it's not the finish line. By that year, China will already have the world's largest and busiest high-speed rail network. It will be testing conventional trains at around 281 miles per hour. It will be demonstrating maglev systems that push well beyond current limits. Some of this will be operational. Some will remain experimental. For travelers, the real change will come gradually. First, faster conventional trains on familiar routes. Then, there might be one flagship maglev line between two megacities. The notion of using a train instead of an airplane will no longer be a concession, but a sense of logic over time. That is why, when you read that China has a train that is faster than a plane, forget the idea of one machine outracing a jet in a straight race. Rather, consider the departures in the center of the city. Short waits, smooth rides, and arrival at the very place you need to be at. Think of speed measured in hours saved from your life, not just miles per hour on a spec sheet. That is the real story of this evolution, a country betting that the future of fast travel does not have to leave the ground to feel like flight. And that's the end of today's video. What do you think of these new rail ideas China has invented? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe so you never miss more videos like this. Bye for now.